Thank you for joining me once again. This is my update and the only video for today, the 4th of December 2025. Vladimir Putin landed in India to visit Modi, the Indian leader. During and after the meeting with Modi, Vladimir Putin made some really interesting statements. I will discuss the most vital ones amongst the statement with you. And we will look very briefly on some really interesting statements that was made by Donald Trump. And finally, we will revisit the situation on the battlefront in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin made those interesting statements today. He said, Russia will liberate the Donbass and the Novorossiya region in every possible way, whether by military means or otherwise. No obstacles will stand in Russian way in liberating those two regions. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, those two regions will become Russian territories. Donbass and Novorossiya, end of. There is no discussion about that. Russia is going to take those regions. Whichever way possible, they will take it, according to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin talked about the 28 points peace plan that was brought to him by Witkoff in Moscow yesterday or the day before. He said the United States proposed breaking that 28-point peace plan to 4 stages or to four points, and then they will discuss them one after the other. But that is not acceptable to Russia. Russia will not accept that. However, Donald Trump is working really hard. He's seeking consensus on Ukraine settlement. But it is not an easy task. Those were the words of Vladimir Putin. Funny enough, Vladimir Putin threw a massive shadow into this topic that have been raised by the United States and a few other countries about Russia rejoining the G8 group. Vladimir Putin said, no, Russia has no intention to rejoin the G8. Finally, Vladimir Putin said, Russia's proposal to Ukraine still remains active and valid. They should withdraw all their forces from the Donbass region, but Ukrainian government refused that. They decided to fight according to the advice they were given by their puppet masters in Europe. Instead of them to take that offer, withdraw their forces from the Donbass, but they chose to fight. The European leaders should get involved with the peace process and stop trying to interfere or trying to disrupt it. The longer it gets, the worse the condition for Ukraine is going to become. Russia, however, will not compromise. Russia will not even deviate from their primary objective right from the beginning of this war. The war and the destructions continue in Ukraine. Unfortunately, that is the stage, that is the situation that is taking place right now. I have now got some clarified update in regard to the talks between the United States and Russia yesterday in Moscow. I was right when I mentioned a few months ago that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin were playing the entire world like a football match. No, like volleyball. Did I say volleyball or like football? Whichever way it is, there was ball included. I said both leaders are playing the entire world like a game of football after that meeting that took place in Alaska, because all the decisions regarding this conflict had been made in Alaska. If you like, you accept it. If you like, you don't accept it. Both men already, they drew the map, they drew the line already, how this war is going to end. Everything we're witnessing right now is just political show. The show of power, display of power, political game. The real deal had been done between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Now, I'm saying this based on some statements that was made by Donald Trump today. And of course, Vladimir Putin don't seem to care about anything that is going on. He's just focused on his primary plan, military force to continue his actions in Ukraine. Let's go to Donald Trump. Let's go to Donald Trump. Donald Trump made some really interesting statement in the White House today, and of course on live TV. Trump said, well, at first he praised the meeting between the United States and Russia in Moscow yesterday. He said that meeting that meeting went really well. Really? How true is that? Because there was nothing agreed or accepted by Russia as far as we know. So how can you say the meeting went really well when the outcome of the meeting was pretty much nothing? How could he say the meeting have gone well? And I don't know what the guy meant by the meeting went well, but he said it went really well between the United States and the Russian delegate. Donald Trump also said that the condition for Ukraine, or like the settlement condition for Ukraine, had significantly worsened since his last meeting with Zelensky. Those conditions that were put forward back then is not good anymore, because the dynamics have changed on the battlefield and the momentum had completely gone to Russia 100%. I said this, I mean, Donald Trump, that guy says a lot of things. But I said this though, it's the brutal honest truth. Obviously, people were surprised to actually see a president of the United States openly said those words. Because people are used to political languages, isn't it? But Donald Trump goes straight forward and he says what he wants to say, whether you like it or not. I said this in many of my videos, many times. In fact, it became my kind of daily anthem that the longer this war goes on for, the more Russia takes, the more Russia conquers, the harder and the more harsh and tough Russian requests and demands will become. Zelensky and the EU leaders are wasting time. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month that goes by, wasted, is drawing Ukraine and the EU closer to complete disaster and failure. I mean, you don't have to agree with me with that, but I'm sure 99.9% of you watching this video right now would agree with me on this point. Every single time being wasted by the EU leaders and Ukraine is drawing them closer to a complete failure. Act now to save some. Don't lose everything. Act now, save some. You have to give, at this point in time, to be honest with you, they have to give a lot to end this war. Here's what Donald Trump said. This backs my comment on why I said they have to give a lot for Russia to even consider sitting down to talk right now. Here's what Donald Trump said. Here's how Donald Trump finished everything. Donald Trump said he warned Zelensky during their last meeting at the Oval Office. I'm sure all of you remember. He said he told Zelensky that Ukraine and the EU has no bargain chip. He said, I told Zelensky he has absolutely zero cards to play in this conflict. That was when we should have negotiated. The condition then was much better than whatever is put forward today. But right now, Ukraine will be lucky to even get any form of settlement, not to talk about even negotiating. Those are the things Donald Trump said. He said he warned Zelensky and the EU when they first came to the Oval Office. You have no cards to play. You have literally zero chip. Negotiate and end this war with Russia. And we saw it. Donald Trump made all those statements. He made all those comments on live TV. Even him and Zelensky almost went into physical fight at the Oval Office. And that was all the press, the Western media managed to, publish throughout their channel and throughout their media. But the actual message, they ignored it. Donald Trump did warn Zelensky, you have no cards. You are drawing the world into destruction. You are trying to risk World War III. Negotiate, end the war. What is your problem? They never listened. So Donald Trump is saying today, the 4th of December 2025, that then would have been a better time to negotiate, to go for settlement. But right now, Ukraine will be lucky to even get any form of, to even get Russian attention right now is difficult because you know what is going on the battlefield. The only country that continues to lose and is losing right now is Ukraine and Europe. That is the bottom line. United States already sort themselves out. Russia, on the other hand, Russia is now going back, it's now being accepted back into the financial, industry, into the commercial industry. Before, they were complaining, they were focusing on Russian oil and gas sector. They want to disrupt that sector because they believe that is where Russia is getting money from. But now, Russia have been accepted back into the, okay, let me not say too much because people will go, you talk too much about Russia. But it's the truth, it's the fact, it's the brutal, honest truth. It's there, you can look it up yourself. Russia announced something today that is really worrying. It has become a serious worry to the EU and to Ukraine and even to the United States. This is why Donald Trump is trying to move really quickly, really fast to get any form of deal for Ukraine. Russia had started concentrating a huge number of forces in Chernivy, is it Chernigos or Chernivy region of Ukraine, and they are planning to open a new front in that region to put more pressure on Ukrainian forces and NATO forces on the ground. What Russia is doing, I don't know who the Russian commanders are, but they are brilliant. You don't go and, what's the word? Let me look for the right one. Yeah, there is no way you can know, you can understand or know book more than the bookshop or more than the library. The library is always, you know, if you know book, part bookshop. I don't know who can interpret that to you. If you know any Nigerian person, ask them, they will interpret to you. You nothing know book more than bookshop. That is how it is for Russia. Russia knows the war game. They have the playbook of any kind of war. And they've decided to stretch Ukraine and NATO out by opening front all over the place. That is why NATO and Ukraine are struggling to even keep up with any region, because every time Russia open a new front there, they pack all their forces there. Then Russia open a new front there, they try to spread their forces, and as they're going, Russia is destroying them along the line. Don't mess with the champion. Now, they're trying to put more pressure on NATO forces and Ukrainian forces by opening that new front in the Chernigos region. They are trying to get closer to the capital, Kyiv, because I'm going to post a map. You see this map you're looking at? So that is Chernigos right there. And this, from here on, you can see the distance from there to the capital, Kyiv, right there. It's not long, it's not far, is it? So they are trying to put more pressure on the capital city, perhaps, maybe to attack the Ukrainian forces from behind and create like a massive cordon, lock them up from going westward, or from, obviously they can't go eastward because Russia is going to hammer them in that area. Maybe, nobody knows the plan, but I can guarantee you there is something Donald Trump knows that you and me don't know. And that is why Donald Trump is distancing himself from all of this. Macron dashed to China. Dashed to China today to meet President Xi. Look out for my next update on that. Very interesting. But for now, what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Have a great day and God bless.